Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing the top 10 tips to surviving having an ostomy in your first month. So the first thing you need to know is all about hydration. Now that you have an ostomy bag, or you will be getting an ostomy bag, you're going to be losing a lot of nutrients that normally your intestines would absorb. Because of this, you have to drink a lot more liquid, water, electrolytes, to be able to balance things out so that you stay hydrated and don't end up back in the hospital. Believe me, I've been there, done that. Not fun, and I don't recommend it. So for me, I like to use Liquid IV. You can get them at any Walmart, Costco, you can even get them online. They're just these little packets that you just pour into 16 ounces of water, or if you like it more diluted, you can add it into more water and then just give it a good mix and you're ready to go. And it gives you 3 times the amount of hydration that just any water would do. And it's really good and healthy for your body, especially now that you have an ostomy. For me, one thing that was a huge lifesaver was using this water bottle. No, this is not sponsored, but I love it so much and wanted to share it with you guys in case any of you guys wanted it. It's a Hydrate Spark water bottle, and basically it has a sensor that I can connect to my phone, and basically what it is I just fill it up with water and it senses how much liquid is in it. You can also use, I put Liquid IV in there, or you can use Gatorade, other juices that you like, and it senses it and it lights up on the bottom once it knows that there's water in it. And every time you drink and you set it down on a flat surface, it registers how much you drink, it lights up again, and it sends it to your phone. So this way you can keep track of how much water or electrolyte intake you're having, and it was a huge lifesaver for me, literally. Hopefully this helped you to know what you can do to stay hydrated, and let's go on to the next one. The second tip is having a good setup in or near your bathroom. This is what I did for my setup. I have these cabinets right next to my bathtub that are just full of different drawers that holds all my supplies. I'll explain more in detail how I have it set up so that it works the best for me. This is my ostomy setup. Of course, I've got lots of extra towels on the top because sometimes you need a lot more than you think. And in each drawer, I've got, this one has all my different rings, my wipes, some paste. And then in this one, I've got the stoma powder, more adhesive remover, my scissors, and then of course the barrier rings that go around the outside. And then this one is where I keep all my bags and the lubricating deodorant. And then under here, I have more little strips from the rings in case I see a leak and I can try to cover it up really quick. And then down here is where I just keep a bunch of random stuff from surgery, but also like the bags that I use to empty or to change my bags. They're a huge lifesaver, and it's nice to have everything in one spot so that I don't have to worry about running out and needing to get something else in the middle of a change. The next tip is to keep track of things. Now that you have your ostomy, or will be getting your ostomy soon, it's important that you know how much input you're having as well as how much output. And so just as hydration is really important and is key in staying healthy now that you have a bag, it's just as important for the first little while to track how much output you're having so you can see if you really are drinking enough and if you're eating the right things to stay healthy and absorb the nutrients that your body needs to survive. For me, I use just a plain 1-inch binder, and in it, I'll show you what I have. This is my binder that I have. I've got my bag change log for all the different days that I changed my bag, how many days I was able to go between changing, the time I changed it. You can see there were a lot of middle of the night ones. How long it took. I kind of got faster from the first time, but I just wanted to do it for fun. And then of course the reason why I changed my bag, whether it was due, there was a leak, and then some other reason. I also have my ostomy log for the output. This is my second page that I did this for the first couple of weeks, and it was a huge lifesaver, so I could see at the end of the day how much total I was having. Every day it varied, but it's so different for everyone. Also, I had my weight just to make sure that I wasn't losing too much weight and I was staying healthy. That was a huge thing that was really helpful for me, and hopefully it can help you as you're starting this new journey. The next tip is eating food and scheduling when you eat. Before having a bag, I could just eat whenever, late into the night, early in the morning, and I didn't have to worry about it at all. Now that I had a bag, I had to make sure that I was eating things that would give me the nutrients that I needed, and as well as how often I was eating and how much I was eating. So I would try to typically eat smaller meals all throughout the day rather than 3 big meals. That way my body was constantly absorbing and processing food rather than getting a huge meal and having a ton of output a few hours later, because that's no fun, trust me. In addition to this, scheduling when you're gonna stop eating. For me, my body would usually get most of its food out after eating it within 6 to 7 hours. So because of that, I would usually stop eating by 6 or 6:30 in the evening. That way I could give my body enough time to mostly get all of its output out so that I could actually get some rest during the night. Everyone's different, and so you just need to kind of figure out the first couple weeks what works best for you, whether that's stopping eating at 5 o'clock or maybe it's 8 o'clock for you. Because like I said, everyone's body is so different, so just figure out what works best for you. The next tip is all about sleeping and a schedule. This was a hard one for me at first because I was so paranoid about having a blowout or leaking at night that I never slept. And over time, I realized that the most helpful thing for me was setting alarms to get up, check my bag, and go empty my bag if needed and go back to sleep. I would usually set an alarm depending on how much output I was having right before going to bed for every 3 to 4 hours, sometimes 5 hours. And so every night just varied, but I would always have a lot of different alarms that I could choose from based on when I went to bed. That way I didn't ever have to worry about having a blowout or leaking, and it saved a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, and I was able to get more sleep. The next tip is having an ostomy travel bag. It's definitely something that I didn't think I would need, but I soon realized after having experienced a leak while being out and about that this is so important.
This is my ostomy traveling kit. Super simple. I think it was an old makeup bag. I use it to have a few of everything I need. So these are the moldable rings to go around the stoma, and these go around the outside of the wafer. So first things first, you need to have towels. I think here I've got 3 towels. They can be used for a lot of different things, tucking into your waistline to protect from it getting on your clothes. You can get one wet to wipe any gunk that comes out while you're changing it. I always like to have a dry one as well, just to dab things and make sure that everything is all dry, and that it will actually stick once putting it to my skin. Then of course I like to have at least 2. Right now I only have 2 in here. So these are the bags that I'm using. I like to have 2 of those. These ones are 1 piece, so they come with a wafer already. And then I like to have a few different things. This is adhesive remover. It's a lifesaver for getting the bag off really quickly, and it's way less painful. However, I do have some adhesive remover up here in these wipes, and then this is skin protectant wipes. But I also have a skin barrier spray that I use that is also really helpful. So those are those. I also like to have some stoma powder to use for crusting, which is also a lifesaver, protects my skin, and makes me feel way more secure that everything's gonna stay. And yeah, then I also have some lubricating deodorant. This is optional, but it helps to make things so they don't pancake in your bag, because that is no fun and we don't want that to happen. I also carry around Flonase because this stuff was a lifesaver for me with healing my skin, but that's totally optional.
I basically just have everything that I could need on the go. I usually like to carry at least 2 to 3 of everything. That way, if I put on a bag and it doesn't stick it right or something goes wrong, I have a backup. You really don't want to be somewhere and not have enough supplies. Trust me. Also, been there, done that. Not fun. The next tip is to have loose clothing that you can fit over your bag or fit comfortably around your bag. For me, that was loose leggings. I went online and I ordered some maternity leggings that were really loose in the stomach area, so I could still wear it over my bag, and as my bag filled up, it wouldn't put pressure on the bag, because that was one of my biggest nightmares, was having too much compression against it and having it burst or leak. So finding what works for you, maybe that's looser clothing, maybe jeans work well for you. Just figuring out what you have that's gonna be the most comfortable, because it's honestly a big transition to go through and a big change, and so you wanna make sure that you're the most comfortable that you can be. For me, I live in leggings almost every day. In fact, I'm wearing leggings right now. And so just finding what works best for you. The next tip that was helpful for me was having ostomy bag covers. Now some people like to just show off their bag, and that's totally fine. If that's what you want to do, there's nothing wrong with that. For me, it was a big confidence boost having it covered, being able to go out in public and not be worried about people seeing my bag. And if they did, it was a cute design. These are just a few of the bags that I have, the bag covers. I think I got them off of Amazon, super cheap. They just slide right over your bag, and they have a little pouch that you can take off to empty your bag. So these are just some different covers that I got. Super cute, super simple. Again, if you prefer just to show your bag, that's totally fine. Everyone experiences things differently, and so you just have to kind of figure out what works best for you and what makes you feel the most comfortable. The next tip is something that was a lifesaver for me, and that's having flushable wipes. These are just the Great Value brand from Walmart, super cheap. You can get more fancy ones if you like. I got some from Target that were more expensive, but honestly, these worked just as well and they were way cheaper. The thing that's so great about these wipes is as you're emptying your bag, sometimes you'll need to wipe the end of it just to make sure that as you roll it back up, nothing gets out. And so it was easiest for me to use these flushable wipes to wipe the end of it, wipe the inside, and close it back up without having to worry about getting anything anywhere. Sometimes I would use toilet paper or paper towels or whatever was closest, but I found that this is easiest because it can be flushed and it's way more simple. The last tip is Ostomy deodorant. Now, this is just a simple one that I got from Amazon, super cheap. And what it is you just pour a little bit inside your bag after you empty it, and you close up your bag. And what it's supposed to do is as it mixes with the output that you're having, it is supposed to help prevent smell or make the smell not as bad. I don't use this all the time because sometimes I don't have it with me on the go, but it was really nice to have at home because sometimes the smell can be really gross. And sometimes it triggers my gag reflex. I have a really bad gag reflex, you can ask anyone. And so having this helped to mask some of that smell and helped me to feel better going about my day. Not having to worry about it smelling and other people smelling it, and it was a huge lifesaver for me. Now I know this isn't one of the tips that I was gonna share, but it's something that's really important to know, and that is to breathe. This is a huge transition you're going through, and it's scary, it's challenging, it's gonna be hard at times, there are gonna be sleepless nights, but you got this. There were so many days where I thought, I can't do this, and I wanted to just give up. But it's so important to just breathe and take things one day at a time, because whether your bag is temporary or whether it's permanent, things will get better. You'll figure out a routine, you'll figure out what works best for you, and you'll be okay in the end. I hope that these tips were helpful for you as you're either about to start your journey with an ostomy or as you're experiencing it right now. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can hear more about my story and my experiences having an ostomy bag and how I'm adjusting to living life with Crohn's disease.